All right, let's talk about something that's often overlooked but is absolutely critical. If you're a property manager, a realtor, or on an HOA board, there's a silent threat to your biggest asset, and it's your gutter system. I know, it's not glamorous, but it is your building's single most important line of defense. Today, we're going to break down exactly why. So, to really get a handle on the scale we're dealing with, let me start with the question. Just picture one of your properties, maybe the one with that big flat roof. Now, imagine a totally average 1-inch rainstorm. How much water do you think that roof has to handle?
The answer is a whopping 600 gallons. Yeah, you heard that right. That's like 10 full bathtubs of water just dumping onto your roof in a really short amount of time. All of that water has to go somewhere, and it has to go somewhere fast.
And that's where your gutters come in. They are literally the only thing standing between that massive volume of water and your building. They aren't just some accessory tacked onto the side. They are your asset's primary defense against an incredible force of nature.
Okay, so let's dive into that, your property's first defense. Because when you start seeing gutters as the critical piece of infrastructure they are, you begin to appreciate the massive job they're engineered to do. See, these aren't the same gutters you have on your house. Commercial systems are a whole different beast. They're engineered for huge roof areas. They're bigger, they're stronger, and they're designed specifically to handle those huge water loads we just talked about, getting it safely away from the two places it can do the most damage, your walls and, even more importantly, your foundation. But what happens when that defense fails? Well, we're not talking about a minor drip. We're talking about a destructive and very, very expensive chain reaction. You know, it all starts with something as simple as a clog. But then, water overflows. It pools around the foundation, and that pressure creates cracks. It backs up under the roof, causing rot you can't even see. It spills down the siding, ruining it. It even washes away your landscaping. And for us here in New England, this whole cascade leads to a uniquely dangerous problem. Because if you manage property anywhere in New England, this is where the stakes get so much higher. Winter brings those freezing temperatures, the snow, the ice, and it turns a simple gutter clog into a structural weapon pointed right at your building.
And that weapon is called an ice dam. It's basically a frozen blockade. It forms right at the edge of your roof and stops any more melting snow from getting away. That water gets trapped, and now it has nowhere to go but backward, up under your shingles, and right into the bones of your building. And the scary part is, this isn't some random fluke. It's a predictable 4-step process. First, heat escapes your building and melts the snow on the roof. That water runs down to the freezing cold edge and, boom, it refreezes into a dam of solid ice. Now all the rest of that meltwater is trapped behind it, seeping into your building. And listen, the damage isn't just internal. Those huge, heavy chunks of ice hanging from the gutters, that is a massive liability. It's a direct threat to the safety of your tenants, your employees, anyone visiting the property. It's a hazard that goes way beyond the cost of repairs. Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom. Here's the really good news. This entire cascade of failures, from the foundation cracks all the way to those dangerous safety hazards, is almost entirely preventable. The solution is simple. You shift from reacting to disasters to adopting a proactive strategy. This really presents every property manager with a clear choice. On one side, you've got the reactive approach: emergency calls, unpredictable costs, tenant disruption, and growing liability. On the other side, you've got the proactive approach: predictable budgets, protected assets, enhanced safety, and honestly, just peace of mind. So what does a proactive plan actually look like? Well, it's really built on 4 pillars. First, regular inspections and cleaning, spring and fall, that's non-negotiable. Second, having an expert make sure the pitch is perfect. Just a tiny slope makes a huge difference. Third, verifying your downspouts can actually handle the amount of water coming off your roof. And finally, choosing the right materials for our tough New England climate. And that material choice is a big deal. You know, lightweight aluminum is great for a lot of jobs, but for tougher industrial settings, galvanized steel gives you that extra strength. And if you have a high-end property or you're anywhere near the coast dealing with salt air, you just can't beat copper. It has incredible corrosion resistance and a lifespan of over 50 years. Right, but picking the right materials and making sure the pitch is perfect, that takes some real know-how. And that brings us to maybe the most crucial piece of protecting your asset: partnering with the right professionals.
Look, a general contractor can do a lot of things well, but a commercial gutter system is a highly specialized network. It's a whole different ballgame. To make sure it performs flawlessly, you really need a specialist who lives and breathes water management, load calculation, and our local conditions.
A true New England specialist just gets it. They understand our crazy freeze-thaw cycles that cause ice dams. They know the local building codes in New Hampshire and Massachusetts inside and out. They have real experience fighting seacoast salt corrosion, and they're experts in the heavy-duty, high-capacity systems that large commercial roofs demand. Most importantly, this is what they do, day in and day out, and they're fully licensed and insured.
So I'll leave you with this one final critical question to think about. When you consider the immense risk of water damage, the foundation issues, and the direct threat to tenant safety, are you absolutely confident that this crucial system is being managed by a true expert?
If there's even a little bit of doubt in your mind, it's time to act. A proactive plan is what protects your asset, ensures tenant safety, and gives you that peace of mind. For an expert consultation, you should reach out to the specialists at New England Gutter Systems. Thanks for your time today.